Hey guys, it's been a while. Guess what? I have more thoughts. Today I'm going to be talking about a possible set of major adjustments that Christians could make to their claims that would have someone like me even consider the possibility of their version of God being the correct one. I was recently involved in a religious discussion with lots of different people and viewpoints, which thrills me. The topic was the Christian perceptions of how atheists are. And one of the Christian defenders was making those arguments that some of you have probably heard before, that atheism is a religion because we have faith that there is no God, and we cannot prove that there is no God, and yet we still think that there is no God. Of course, I have some problems and issues with those claims. I've already addressed quite a few of them in previous videos. That's why I do these. These come up a lot when discussing these topics. For that reason, and for the fact that it wasn't really relevant to that particular discussion, I won't get into my arguments against those kinds of remarks. But in this particular case, when being asked to prove that there is no God, it got me on a different train of thought, which I'd like to share with you. Some of you with experience with these kind of discussions will know, if someone asks you if you're a God, you say yes. And if someone asks you to prove there is no God, you respond, the burden of proof is on you. For those of you not familiar with the concept, really quickly, if someone is bringing a claim to the table, it is their responsibility to bring their proof and evidence in order to convince those people. It is not the other way around. However, that response has been used over and over again by several atheists, and honestly it gets boring. I have seen a response from Christina Rad, otherwise known as Oh My God, It's Chris, and she's fantastic. She also had similar feelings of being bored with that response, and she resolved herself to actually try to respond to people asking her to defend her position that God doesn't exist, even though she doesn't have to. Her response has a lot more colorful language and is much more aggressive than this video is. I will link it below in case you prepared yourself and want to watch that. The crux of her argument was regarding the claim of God's omniscience, omnipotence, and benevolence. There have been many different angles attacking this particular point of the combined attributes in a being and the contradictions of that. My point is, if Christians want someone like me to believe that the Bible is the Word of God and that God is real and their version is real, they really should read their Bibles and consider these arguments and consider conceding the following points. 1. The God of the Bible is clearly not omniscient in any way. You can even say that he knows a lot of things that no one else does, but you can't say he knows everything. There are too many stories and examples in the Bible where he shows surprise, he shows being really upset because he's surprised by the actions of his followers. You cannot in the same breath say that he had these reactions and that he is omniscient, especially when you consider God giving man free will. Even if he was omniscient previous to that, once free will is in the equation, you cannot be omniscient. Someone else has their own will. You don't know what their will is because it is free will. If you were able to concede after reading the Bible and considering those arguments that God of the Bible cannot be omniscient, you get a lot further with convincing an atheist that he is the true God, and that would explain a lot of his actions. but if you're going to insist he's omniscient, we can't believe you. The second necessary concession is the God of the Bible is either all-powerful or benevolent. He cannot be both. Again, there are way too many instances in the Bible and also in everyday life. If there was an all-powerful and all-benevolent being, any number of instances could be dealt with in a much more direct fashion that don't happen. And my only way of reconciling that with this God that people are proposing in the Bible would be either he's all-powerful and not benevolent, or he is benevolent but not all-powerful. My money would be on all-powerful but not benevolent, just based on a load of stories in the Bible. If Christians were able to concede that the God of the Bible is not omniscient and is either all-powerful or benevolent, but not both, the Bible would make so much more sense, at least to an atheist, and so would so many events in everyday life, considering the existence of a God. Taking away this contradictory perfection, in a way, humanizes this God, for lack of a better term. Of course, there are still plenty of other areas in the Bible and in tenets of Christianity that would have a lot more explaining to do. They still have the problem of convincing atheists like myself that their explanation and their God is the true one as opposed to any other God concept. And of course there's the whole point that I don't think Christians will concede any of these points because it's kind of fundamental to their belief. But just musings and thoughts of mine as usual, so thanks for letting me share them. Bye guys.